for being here, taking part in our video in regards to scheduling for success, scheduling for success, our fifth to sixth grade transition. Um, as we get started, wanted to go over a couple what our agenda will look like. Welcome and my introductions, just myself here today. We're going to talk about why these choices are important as far as the choices you can make on your course request sheet. We're going to talk specifically about all the different aspects of the course request process and how to choose things in the different areas. We'll look at the registration timeline, some opportunities for summer math enrichment camps, and also more as important, your points of contact should you have any questions or concerns. So let's go ahead and get started. One of the things to know, the reason why we're doing this is to make sure that everyone understands that the choices that we make in fifth grade not only affect what happens in middle school, but has implications for high school and college as well. So we want to make sure that everyone's making good choices. We also want everyone to know while we care about academics, the idea of our electives credits, fine arts, and our extracurricular activities are just as important. And we need to make sure that students have activities that they enjoy, an awesome friend group, and that they enjoy coming to school, and we're developing well-rounded individuals, and that is not just about academics. We want everyone to be well-balanced. And of course, one of the things we want you to know, believe it or not, the choices that you're going to be making in fifth grade this year will have impact in regards to college credits. So we want you to know what those opportunities are. So that way, if you decide to make a choice in fifth grade that will give you access to those opportunities, you're doing it with your eyes wide open and you're able to make those choices for yourself and your student based on your hopes and dreams for the future. Now, as we go through the video, we're going to pause at sections and ask you, after we've gone through a section of video, and ask you to discuss, for parents and students to discuss, to jot down any questions that you have or concerns. So that way we will have a place where you can go ahead and send those in to us, and we'll be able to get back with you and answer any questions that you may have. So let's go ahead and get started. So there is going to be an electronic enrollment form this year. In previous years, we've sent you guys a paper copy of how to enroll in your different courses, and we've put it all online this year, incredibly easy. But we also want you to know that if you prefer the paper, simply talk to your campus and they can get you a paper copy, and then you will just turn that into them. Whatever works best for you and your family. Now, we will be sending that out as of February 1st is when we'd like you to start putting this information in the enrollment form, and it's going to be due back February 12th. Now, the start of the form, you're simply putting in your student's ID number, first and last name, and giving the elementary school that they're currently at. After that, then it will begin the process of asking you about all the different courses that you want to sign up for. Now, know at Hopewell Middle School, the classes that you will be choosing from, where you have choice, is there are 7 classes you need to sign up for. But the great thing about this is that 3 of those classes are already decided for you. Language arts, science, and world cultures, which is social studies, are the same courses across our entire district. So really and truly, there's nothing to think about. Those courses your students will be enrolled in automatically. So that leaves us with 4 different areas that we need to look into: physical education, fine arts, and your electives, and then your math credit. So let's go ahead and get started. In physical education, you will have 3 choices. Your student can either sign up for pre-athletics, wellness, or dance. Now, one of the things to know is dance is always, a lot of students really love dance. We have great teachers. So oftentimes there is not space available for our 6th graders. We also have wellness, which is our regular PE class, and we have pre-athletics. In 6th grade, students are not allowed to be in athletics. So we have the pre-athletics class, which is a PE class where they rotate through all the different athletic activities that they can take part in. They learn the different plays. They get to practice, get a chance to try on things and see what they like or don't like. The athletics that we have at middle school are football, basketball, volleyball, soccer, and track. And I believe I've caught those, all of those. And so those are the things, once your students are in 7th grade, that they'll be able to take part in. Of course, there is cheerleading as well, but cheerleading is not usually part of the athletic program. So your student will have between those 3 choices. One of the things to know is, unlike elementary school, there are always choices that your students will have to make in regards to classes. But because there are limited spaces in those classes, it's not a foregone conclusion that your student will be able to get a spot in that class. So know that if your student chooses something and there's not space available, then we'll have to put them in another class. So just be aware of that. That's one of the major differences between elementary and middle school, and that will follow them in high school as well. They'll make choices, but it's possible that they may not get their first choice. Now let's go on and start looking at your fine arts classes. Fine arts classes are some of the elective classes that you will take. As you see on this sheet, elective classes include band, orchestra, choir, and art and theater. Those are the things you have to choose from. You get to choose one fine arts class. In middle school, you have to take a PE course and you have to take a fine arts course. So one of these you must choose. And again, we will try to make sure that we get you your top choice. So at this moment, take a moment, families, students, and parents, and pause the video, discuss your thoughts and ideas, and then jot down any questions that you may have. There will be a space at the end of the video for you to put those questions in. And then again, we will go ahead and find the appropriate personnel so they can contact you and make sure that they answer any and all questions and concerns that you may have. Now let's move on to elective credits. When we look at elective credits, then we expand what choices your students can have. Now remember, 3 of your 7 classes were already decided: language arts, science, and social studies. That's the world cultures. And then afterwards, we just discussed your wellness or PE class. That takes us to 4. And number 5 was your fine arts credit. You must take a fine arts and a PE credit. So that takes us to 5 classes, and we have 2 more to decide. Your student gets to choose an elective. Now that elective can also be a fine arts credit. It can be band, orchestra, choir. So you have another opportunity if you want to double up on another fine arts course: band, orchestra, choir, dance, art, theater arts, also technology application, AVID, Spanish, French, and/or a class called Discovering Spanish Language and Hispanic Culture. So let me go through and kind of explain what some of these courses are, give you a quick synopsis. So in our technology application class, what that is in that class, they have like Microsoft Office, and you learn all the different applications in there. And so it's not just a matter of typing in Word. You learn all the full range of what that program can do. They have Excel, Photoshop, all of those different things. And you go through all of the different programs, and where you just kind of get skills as far as how to just navigate those programs at a higher level. The AVID class specifically that's a college, a class that allows you to be college ready. What that class, if you know that you want your student to go to college, or even if you want them to be just more organized in everything they do, it allows you, they work on study skills, note taking, the organization of your notebook, writing skills. They do tutoring in there. And so it's getting, and once the students, even as far as looking at colleges, what kind of jobs might I be interested in? So that course allows you to get ready for that part of your life if that's a direction that you would like to go. You also have the option of taking Spanish and or French. Now, Spanish and French are high school credits. And in middle school, you have the option to begin taking your high school credits in middle school. One of the differences is this, though. In high school, you will get what's called a GPA, a grade point average. If you take a high school course in middle school, then it does not count as part of your rank. You get the credit, but the grade is not factored in to your high school transcript. So that's one of the things to know. Another thing to know in regards to Spanish and French, we slow down the pace a little bit more for our students in languages in middle school. So we usually, for a course, 1A is first semester and 1B is second semester. We take those courses, and that's typically how it would work in high school. In middle school, we take what would normally take a student a year, and we spread it out over 2 years in middle school. So you would take Spanish 1A or French 1A the first year of middle school, and then Spanish 1B or French 1B the second year of middle school. So what that means is if a student is going to start a language and they're starting with level 1, that means you can only start that in 6th or 7th grade. You cannot start a language in 8th grade. Now, in certain situations, your student may already be coming, maybe they have the gift of language. And in this case, it would have to be Spanish or French. And maybe they have been in elementary school, and while in elementary school, they have been in a dual language class. In dual language classes, students are becoming bilingual as far as really making sure that they have the ability to read, write, and speak well in another language. Because they're developing those skills, at the end of the student's 5th grade year, they're able to take what's called an Apple test. Let me find my notes on that. And so let's go to the next slide and we can see that a little bit more. So they're able to take an Apple test. And what that test allows them to do is they take the test and they can earn, depending on how they score, they can earn 1 year's worth of credit. So they can earn the first level, Spanish 1 or French 1 of Spanish and or French, which means then they would have to start either Spanish 2 or French 2 in 6th grade. Because we always want, when our students are taking a language, for it to be taken consecutively so that they do not lose any of the skills that they have obtained. All right. So again, your student, as part of their elective, your student can choose to take as their elective, their language. But if they're taking a language, they need to take it consecutively. All right. And so there's a lot that we went over there. And so there'll be a lot to talk through. Another thing to know is that in order to graduate from high school, you need 2 years of a language, which means you need to have completed Spanish 1, which means 1A and 1B, the whole year of Spanish. Or if it's French 1, same thing, 1A and 1B, and Spanish 2 or French 2. But even though that's all you may need to graduate high school, it doesn't mean that it's all you need to go to college. Most colleges will ask for 3 years of a language. So just something that you need to know as you're planning out when and where to take a language, what it looks like, how many years to take, and why you would take that many years. Now, language is one of the places where they have what's called an advanced placement test, Once you get into high school, that's usually taken in the 4th year or 5th year of taking a language. And know that if you keep on going with a language, you have to, you can take what's called an advanced placement test, and it gives you the opportunity to earn 14 credits, 14 college level credits that can be transferred to the college of your choice. So something to think about as far as, and it would preclude you from having to take a language in college. So something to think about as you're planning your schedule and you're looking not just at the middle school years, but how that dovetails and connects with the high school years and what you want to do in regards to our language offerings and taking that as elective right now. So we went through, that was kind of intense. There was a lot of information there. So we're going to pause at this time. You can, if you would like, you can pause your video, discuss amongst your family, parents and students, and then jot down any questions that you may have. And remember, you'll be able to type those in at the end of this presentation in the form, the Schoology form, and we will get back to you with any questions or concerns that you may have. Now, the last thing that we'll be discussing, again, we've discussed language arts is taken care of, science, social studies, which is called world cultures, is taken care of. You have your wellness education, which is your PE course, that's number 4. And then you also have your fine arts credit, and then you had an elective credit where you have a vast array of things to choose from. You had languages, you had AVID, you had another fine arts course, and you had even a technology course to choose from. So a lot of different things. Now, math is the last thing that we need to think about and the last thing that we need to consider. And we save this for last because out of all the other courses, believe it or not, this is going to be the most important. What it says here, and I know it says middle school algebra 1, and you're probably thinking, but I'm going to 6th grade. Why are we talking about algebra 1? Let's go ahead and uncover that. The slide says that Algebra 1 is important to overall student academic success because it determines access to more advanced math, a college preparatory high school curriculum, and is a major data point correlated to higher college going rates and higher college graduation rates. So what is that saying in a nutshell? If you're able to get to middle school Algebra 1, then you have a higher chance of graduating from high school, going to college, graduating from college, and also getting into a STEM career. And let me show you what the numbers say. So this is a kind of busy graph, and so we'll give you a moment to acclimate yourself. And so the different lines represent different levels of math that someone can attain. And then what it says is, if you attain that level of math in high school, what does it mean for you as far as enrolling in college or higher education, staying in college, graduating from college, or even going to a STEM career? So the yellow line represents Algebra 2. The pinkish line represents pre-calculus. And then the very top line, which looks like to be blue or purple, represents college level math, which could be an advanced placement, IB or international baccalaureate class, or a dual credit math class. And what this is saying, let's look at the first red box. What it's saying is, if you are attaining the highest levels of math, that you have a 60% chance, the data says, of completing a higher degree. And that could be a college bachelor's degree, trade school, but you have a greater chance of graduating from that higher education with a higher education degree versus someone who has attained pre-calculus with a 42% chance versus someone who has gotten to Algebra 2, something that is at that level, which is an 18% chance. So out of all our subjects, more than anything else, English, science, social studies, world languages, this has a higher correlation to whether or not your student is able to, again, graduate from high school, get into college, graduate from college, and graduate from college within a certain amount of time. So how then does your sixth grade choice impact all of this? Well, the thing is, only taking certain levels of math will give you access to Algebra 1 in middle school. And why that is important is if I'm able to attain Algebra 1 in middle school, then once I go on to high school, I will complete geometry in ninth grade. In 10th grade, I will have at least Algebra 2. And that allows me then to at least have that curriculum so that when I take my SAT or ACT, and typically most students start taking the SAT or ACT the summer after their 10th grade year or the first semester of their 11th grade year. Now, all of our students, I will tell you honestly, are absolutely brilliant. But what many don't know is if you don't get middle school Algebra 1, then you're not able to access the math that will be tested in the SAT and ACT. So it's not that many of our students aren't absolutely brilliant. They just have not had access to the curriculum needed to take those tests and do well, which will impact their ability then to get into the college of their choice or a program, a major of their choice within the college. So it's really all about access and when your student gets that access. So our recommendation is that your student look at accelerated math as their choice. And if your student is in the talented and gifted program and qualify for that based on math, and that would have been based on testing that they did in elementary school, know that then they will choose tag math as their option. And we will verify that through the records to make sure that they're in that program. If your student is in tag math and was in tag math in elementary school, then what that usually means is that they got pulled out for extra math curriculum. And because of that extra math curriculum that they had access to, when those students start middle school, they'll be in sixth grade, but they'll actually be starting with eighth grade math in sixth grade. So they will be going to eighth grade math, Algebra 1, and geometry. And so that's why they're able to do so well when they take SAT and ACTs and other exams for college. They have access to that math. They've had the chance to practice it and reinforce it through their math courses. So they're ready. They've had access to those programs. So tag students will usually leave middle school having taken geometry and start ninth grade already with access to Algebra 2. And so for students who are not in the talented and gifted program, their only opportunity to accelerate occurs in the 5th to 6th grade transition, where they now have the option to take 6th grade accelerated math so they can get to Algebra 1 in 8th grade. And so do know that we are always here to support. I know many of us may have phobias with math, but I promise you, we will not leave our students hanging. Your students are brilliant, and math, just like any other subject, is just something to know and something to teach. Anywhere where they will have difficulty, our teachers will work with them and tutor them, but chances are that they'll be good to go. We see it with our students right now who are in the courses. They're doing exceptional. But do know that we do offer additional support. We do offer during the summer, if you're able to make these dates, a math enrichment camp. And that'll be during June 8th to June 26th, and it usually runs Monday through Friday. We don't have a time set as yet, and we're not quite sure if it'll be virtual or on site, because we're just waiting to see what happens with COVID, and then we'll be able to finalize that information. And usually this information is sent out during March, and it's sent out through the 5th grade teachers and also reinforced through e-news and sent out through the school. So know that if this is something that you're interested in, you will have another opportunity, but we wanted to give you an opportunity to put that on your radar and to look out for it. And so the things that they learn at this camp, it is not a drill and kill in regards to math all day, every day. We do really try to make sure that the skills that they will need to be successful, that they have a great foundation, but we're also working on their confidence, their self-efficacy in math. We're working on projects that take math, but are not necessarily directly related to math. We're working on them forming a math community, knowing other kids that will be in the classes with them, and just forming that community of learners that will work, that they can carry with them from 6th grade and beyond. And that's it. Those are the things that you need to consider and think about and make choices for as a family. We also want you to know that the registration timeline, as of the 1st, you will have access to the virtual choice sheets. Again, if you would prefer a paper copy, please just ask your elementary school and we will get that out to you. And then the choice sheets will be due as of February 12th. So that way we can make sure that your student have signed up, they have a space available to them, but we will constantly be checking with you. If you need help, please know that the middle school is available to you already. Now, if you wanted to just reach out to the elementary school, know that the counselors and administrators are armed with all of this information and can help you as well. But if you choose to reach out, you can reach out to Hopewell Middle School. There's the principal, Ms. Linda Garinger, but you also have Mr. Robert Moreno, who will be the 6th grade assistant principal, and Ms. Maricela Galindo, who is the 6th grade counselor, who will be your 6th grade counselor as well. So don't hesitate, just reach out so we can help you and answer any questions that you have so that you're comfortable with your decisions and you know what supports are in place for your students and whatever specific needs they may have. All right. Any additional questions? Again, please write them down. We love to talk to our parents and students and make sure that you guys are taken care of. And again, Natalie Nichols, Area Superintendent for the Stony Point Learning Community, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. And know that that's my contact information. If you need to reach out to me, I can help you as well. I can be reached at Natalie_Nichols@RoundRockISD.org or my direct line at 464-6155 or my cell at 254-681-5160. Have a wonderful evening, night, or morning whenever you're watching this, and best of luck in your future endeavors. Thank you so much.